What's up guys? Welcome back to the Classic Car Maintenance channel. In today's video, we'll show you how to polish your car by hand. In our previous videos, we've washed our car, removed the iron particles, and clayed it. Now that the car paint is clean and contaminant free, it's time to remove the scratches and marring to get a deep showroom gloss. Don't forget, if you want to get polishing results like a pro, preparation is key. If you don't clean your car surface meticulously first, surface contaminants will get stuck to your polishing pad and scratch your car paint, and you'll end up with more scratches instead of less. That's where most DIY polishing jobs go wrong. Contrary to what you might think, good preparation actually saves time, because you'll only have to polish once. If you try to cut corners, you'll end up chasing your own tail, removing those scratches and marring you've caused by polishing over a dirty surface. If you haven't done it already before clay barring your car, now is the time to measure your car's paint thickness. To not run the risk of polishing through your clear coat, you want to first check your car's paint thickness. You can use a mechanical or a digital paint gauge like we've used in our previous video on how to clay bar your car. If you have a reasonably new car or your paint measures around 100 microns or more, you should be fine. But if your car's paint thickness is below 80 to 90 microns, you want to be very careful and apply very light pressure, or you might rub through your paint. With thin, worn car paint, you want to use fine-grade polishing pads and liquids only. No car is the same, so this is just an indication, a general guideline. Use common sense. When in doubt, have an expert assess your car's paint condition first. Right. Now you know that your paint is thick enough to start the polishing process. First, park your car in the shade, away from trees. It's not a good idea to park your car under trees when you're detailing it. There's always stuff falling from trees like tree sap, honeydew, dead foliage, bird droppings. If this stuff accidentally gets caught in your polishing pad while you're working, it will scratch your car paint. You don't want to correct your car paint in direct sunlight on a warm summer's day because the heat from direct sun softens your car paint in summer, making it more prone to abrasion and scratches. Intense sunlight will also evaporate your product before you can work it, potentially leaving marks and spots. However, if the sun is too weak to heat your car paint, you should be okay. Gently touch the car surface to make sure it isn't hot and use common sense. If you don't have a place in the shade, you want to detail your car on an overcast day or early in the morning when it's cool. If you have access to a large enclosed garage with good lighting, it's best to park it there for the actual polishing phase. Indoors, you have almost 100% control of your surroundings, which is a huge bonus. There's no wind blowing stuff on your immaculately clean car surface, and there's no bugs and birds doing their thing. Now that our car is free of contaminants and parked in the right spot, let's gather the stuff we'll need to polish our car by hand. First of all, you're going to need the softest, edgeless towels you can get because you don't want to scratch your freshly polished paint. For an average car size like ours, 6 towels should do. You want to wear nitrile gloves to avoid skin contact. Remember, the products we're going to use are formulated for car care, not skin care. Of course, you'll need polishing products. Depending on the roughness of your paint and depth of the scratches and marring, you can use a fine, medium, or coarse polishing liquid. For our car, we'll be using a coarse grade polish to remove the deepest scratches, and then we'll finish with a fine finishing polish to achieve that perfect shine. To apply these polishes, we're going to use a coarse grade hand polishing pad, a fine grade, and a small pliable pad to get in all nooks and crannies. Finally, you'll need a conditioning brush to brush off caked up product from your pads while you're polishing. You can find all these products in the links below. Alright, put on some gloves and you're ready to go. Let's do this. Put all your stuff within arm's reach for easy access. Because we're doing the hood first, we put everything we're going to need within reach on a foam rubber mat located in the center of the hood. You don't want to put your product straight on your car paint because that might scratch it. We're going to tackle the scratches and swirl marks on our car with coarse polish to start with, and then finish with fine finishing polish to get a showroom gloss. You can clearly see this car needs it, and that's no surprise. It hasn't been polished in over 20 years. However, when your car paint is in good shape, you want to start with a soft foam pad combined with fine grade polish and evaluate the results as you go. You can always switch to medium or coarse polish if it takes too much effort to remove the scratches. It's always smart to start with a fine or medium polish and use a more aggressive one only if needed. The less paint you remove in the process, the better, because it doesn't grow back. The first thing we're going to do is take our coarse polishing pad and saturate it with 6 to 8 pea-sized dots of polish and spread the coarse polish evenly to saturate the entire pad surface with product. We're going to start by polishing the surface with coarse polish in single passes back and forth in straight lines. By working in straight lines instead of swirling motions, you'll avoid making swirl marks. Always work medium to small size areas at a time so the polish doesn't dry on you while you're working it. You want each pass to overlap the previous by at least 50%. Apply moderate pressure. After you've completed the downward back and forth polishing pattern, now repeat the same procedure but in the upward direction. Without letting the polish dry, you want to immediately proceed with an up and down pattern from left to right. Again, overlap each previous pass by at least 50%. Apply moderate pressure and repeat the same procedure from right to left. Next, take a super soft edgeless microfiber towel and fold it twice. Now wipe off the polish in straight lines until there's none left. You want to flip it to a fresh side each time it's saturated. If you fold it twice, you'll be able to flip it to a fresh side 8 times. Again, work the area in both side-to-side motion and up and down to remove any residue. Now carefully check the polished surface for scratches and swirls. Use a small correcting pad with coarse polish to correct any blemishes. You want to apply the same technique we used before, but on a much smaller scale. This time, you want to apply pressure with just 1 or 2 fingers in the same crosshatch pattern. By applying the same pressure, but on a much smaller surface, the polishing effect will be many times stronger compared to a large polishing pad. Again, you want to avoid swirling motions. When you're done polishing the blemishes just like before, wipe off the residue with a clean towel in a straight crosshatch pattern. Depending on the state your car paint is in, it may need another pass, just like ours did. If all major scratches and blemishes are gone after one pass and some corrections, you can move on to the next step right away. The next and final step for us will be to repeat the whole process, but with a soft pad and fine finishing polish to get a deep showroom shine. If your car paint was in good shape to begin with and you started with a soft pad and fine grade finishing polish right away, you can skip this step, of course. You might want to watch the process one more time as a recap though, because it's the exact same process, but with a different pad and product. We'll speed it up so you can clearly see the pattern. Saturate the pad with product. Work the area side to side and up and down in a crosshatch pattern. Wipe clean in a straight crosshatch pattern and you're done. When you move on to an adjacent area, make sure to overlap the previous area by a couple of inches to make all areas blend in nicely. It's the same process over and over again. Once you get the hang of it, it's quite simple actually. Side to side in straight lines, up and down, and wipe the residue off in a crosshatch pattern with a soft, clean towel. When there's no blemishes left, we can move on to the fine polish. Wipe it off and move to the next area, and so on. For hard-to-reach spots in small areas, we like using a small pad. Again, we'll only be applying pressure with 1 or a couple fingers so we can work very precisely and reach all nooks and crannies. The motions are just the same like when using a large pad, but on a much smaller scale. Always work in the same crosshatch pattern whenever you can. If you can't because it's too narrow, try to work in straight swipes instead of swirls. Always try to avoid swirling motions. Again, wipe clean with a soft, clean towel. Repeat the process with a fine grade polish. It's important to finish off with fine-grade finishing polish after you've worked with coarse or medium polish because those correcting polishes leave minute scratches no matter what you do. Although you might not notice them indoors or on an overcast day, they will ruin your car's appearance in full sunlight when you take it for a spin. Fine finishing polish is the solution to that problem. It will remove all those tiny scratches and give your car paint that deep showroom gloss. You want to stay clear from matte rubber and uncoated or structured plastics because they might become more glossy if you accidentally polish them along with adjacent car coating. Just tape them off to protect them. Very small or difficult to get to areas like around logos, lettering, or rubber parts may have to be polished following the contours instead of straight lines. That's just fine. Switch to straight lines where you can. Once you've polished your whole car, inspect it one more time to make sure no spot is left unpolished and everything blends in as it should. Well, guess the results speak for themselves, don't they? Remember, there's always room for improvement no matter what you do, but we're pretty happy with the way our old, tired car paint is revived on a tiny budget with just some old-fashioned elbow grease and the right technique. Nope, no scratches or marring anymore. Looks awesome. Approved.